Holy mackerel. I got to tell you, that fog today was insane on my way in. I came in through Mount Juliet and Hermitage, and it was socked in really from, where I live up in the northern area of Mount Juliet all the way to 40, and then I got on 40 West, and it was still incredibly foggy. I don't know if it's, I don't know the visibility, 2 feet, 3 feet, whatever, but I can tell you that it was really thick where I came in, again, from northern Mount Juliet, down like Nonneville Road, then going west on 70, Lebanon Pike, whatever you call it, all the way through Hermitage. It was really bad. And you went through it as well, Sam?
Yeah, coming down from the north in Robertson County, all the little crevasses between the hills and the valleys. It was pretty dense.
Yeah, same coming up from Murfreesboro, Dan, especially around the Stones River, which kind of makes sense, you know. But in my subdivision, which is near Veterans Boulevard and Highway 231, couldn't see a damn thing getting into my truck, and then as I got closer to the interstate, it got a little better.
I was driving in, and I was coming down my road from like my subdivision down onto the main thoroughfare, if you will. And it was really foggy, and there was a deer right in the darn road. Yeah. And I couldn't see it until like the very last minute. Now, luckily, I was going slower, because of the fog. So I didn't hit said deer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, neither would the deer. But luckily, everyone is okay, including the deer.
Well, we are under a dense fog advisory till 9 a.m. this morning.
Dense fog advisory in my head as well. That's always the joke that I like to...
I told myself that joke when I was driving in. I'm like, this must be what Dan's head's like at midnight.
That's exactly right. That's what my head is like at midnight. And you're supposed to drive low beams. Is
correct.
That what you're supposed to do?
That's correct. If you put the high beams on, it just reflects more light into the fog and decreases visibility.
I like to live dangerously. I'll put the LEDs on. Let that blast back into my eyes.
Do you really? Okay, well, very good. Well, luckily we all made it here safely and all in one piece. I liked, by the way, Jay, and I'm not criticizing. I want you to know that I'm not criticizing.
Yes.
I like how you started your newscast with mostly clear but foggy.
Yeah.
Like, did you catch that, Sam?
Mostly clear skies above the fog. I guess I should have been.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
okay.
I guess I should have been a little more.
To Jay's credit, the weather report's just going to say mostly clear. It's not going to necessarily indicate where.
Okay, so mostly clear over the fog.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, yes. Good. Thank you for clarifying, Jay.
Okay, hey.
See, I would have understood it.
That's a new podcast name. Mostly clear over the fog.
There you go. Mostly clear over the fog, because I need something else to do. Okay. Hey, really sad news. Michael Reagan died. Now, he was the adopted son of Ronald Reagan. I knew him as a coworker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Would you stop it? This is a serious thing. I liked Michael Reagan. Sam.
Why I was giving you sad violin.
I don't need sad violins. That sounds a little smart alecky when we talk about Michael Reagan dying at the age of 80? Was he 80?
And that's what the reports are. Wow. 80 years old.
Nicest guy ever. So when I worked many, many years ago, and I got a lot of stuff to do today, so I don't want to linger on any one thing, but when I worked with Dr. Laura, when I was her producer many, 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 many years ago, I was just a youngin' then. Her show got bought by Premier Radio, and we moved over to Premier. Michael Reagan was a talk show host for Premier Radio. And so I was really, because I've said many times, Ronald Reagan, my favorite all-time president. And so I was looking forward to meeting Michael Reagan, but I was a little nervous because I'd never met a Reagan before. And so I was very, excited, yet nervous, because I didn't know if, like some talk show hosts tend to be, really pompous and arrogant, and they got their heads up their butts. So I wasn't sure about meeting Michael Reagan, because here is a guy who is the son of Ronald Reagan and a very popular radio talk show host as well. And so there I was in the kitchen of Premier Radio. I think it was like the first or second day. And I'm trying to conjure up the, the guts, the courage to go introduce myself to Michael Reagan. I'm in the kitchen. I think it's like, as I said, day 1 or 2. making a pot of coffee. Who walks into the kitchen? But Michael frickin' Reagan walks in, and you know what he says? I'll never forget this. Michael Reagan says, "Hey, Dan, I'm Michael Reagan." He knew my name. I was shocked. And I'm like, and he was the most engaging, nicest, warm, did not have his head stuck up his butt like some, famous radio talk show people. He was a good guy. And he and I would talk about his dad. Very complicated family dynamic. If anybody knows anything about the Reagans, let's just leave it at that. Very complicated family dynamic. But he was a good guy. And we'd talk politics. He'd, give me some inside, sort of perspective. He didn't tell me anything that isn't already out there. But he'd talk about, life as Ronald Reagan's adopted son and just the nicest of guys. And he treated his team very well. I got to produce his show a few times, filling in for his show when I was also working with Dr. Laura and so forth. And just a very good guy, very good guy. So he and I had not obviously spoken in many, many years, but sad to see that he is dead. But what an incredible life that he had, the son of Ronald Reagan and also very successful talk show host in his own right and a very, very good human being at that. So Michael Reagan dead at the age of, you said 80 years old?
Yeah, that's the reporting.
Of cancer, right?
Yeah, not seeing the cause, but the age is correct.
Well, he's 80. All right, very good. Well, thank you, Jay. And we'll continue to mourn the loss of Michael Reagan. The Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. I thought it was interesting. Yesterday, we had the audio, and I'm gonna play it again just to remind you folks of the conversation between Jake Tapper and Stephen Miller, Trump policy advisor Stephen Miller, because Tapper was trying to get Miller to rule out any kind of military action to take over Greenland. Remember that whole thing? I'm going to play that audio coming back. As you probably now know, there is a big update to that story. I'm a little shocked, but then again, I'm not sure why I would be shocked. Knowing what I know, do your little joke that you said to me in my headphones. You had an accident in Almaville?
On Almaville Road.
Things must not be so. I don't know where I was going with that. Why would you do that?
You know what?
Me?
Because you said it to me. Things must not be Almaville right.
Alma right
in Alma. Yeah, that's really dumb. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, that was dumb.
It was dumb.
That
Sam.
was dumb.
Listen,
brought to you by a SNL skit of Omeleteville.
Oh, is that what it is?
Bring it on into Almaville.
All right, moving right along. It is 5:15.
You opened that door.
Nashville. You opened the door by telling me a dumb joke on my headphones because you know what's going to happen? I'm going to repeat it on the air. I'm like Anchorman, right? You say something in my headphones, I'm going to say it right on the air. Uh-huh. Go blank yourselves, San Diego. Remember that whole thing? Moving right along.
That's a nasty one. That's nasty.
All right, 5:16, Nashville's Morning News. All right, so this is really interesting. The Trump administration is now coming out and saying, yeah, you know what? Nothing is off the table in us trying to acquire Greenland, including use of the U.S. military. Now, this was Jake Tapper and Stephen Miller just a couple of days ago. This was on Sunday, or was it Monday? Whenever it was, this is Jake Tapper and Stephen Miller.
It has been the formal position of the U.S. government since the beginning of this administration, frankly, going back into the previous Trump administration, that Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Right, but can you say that military action against Greenland is off the table?
It wouldn't be military action against Greenland. The Greenland has a population of 30,000 people, Jake. Mm-hmm. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? What is their basis of having Greenland as a colony of Denmark? The United States is the power of NATO. For the United States to secure the Arctic region, to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States.
I mean, see, I get that. When we were airing this audio yesterday, Jake Tapper has such a perplexed look on his face. It's so funny. But when Stephen Miller put it in that sense about NATO and United States being the driving force behind NATO, why should we not have Greenland as part of the United States? And Tapper, he was trying to pin down the use of military force to literally take Greenland from Denmark. And yesterday I went through, it goes all the way back to the 1700s, why Greenland is part of Denmark. I don't want to go all the way back into that. But I think the United States and Trump is really answering Jay Tapper here and answering this back and forth between Miller and Jay Tapper, because, Tapper was trying to really frame it as, okay, so will you rule out use of the military? And Miller was like, that's just a stupid and ridiculous question.
And so that's a conversation that we're going to have as a country. That's a process we're going to have as a community of nations.
So you can't take it off the table that the U.S. would use military force to seize Greenland. You can't take it off the table.
Jake, I understand you're trying very hard.
Yeah.
Which again is your job. I respect it. It's great to get exactly the headline, right? That catchy headline.
I'm trying to get an answer to the question.
That says Miller refuses to rule out the United States should have Greenland as part of the United States.
All right. So I think the Trump administration said, you know what, we're just going to throw it out there. Absolutely. We include the potential use of the U.S. military in trying to obtain Greenland. So, yeah, hey, Jake Tapper, we're willing to use the military if we have to. I was a little surprised initially by that, but then I thought, why in the world am I surprised? This is the Trump administration. They'll say and do anything because everything is, as we talked about yesterday, 3D, 4D chess. The White House saying on Tuesday that President Donald Trump is discussing options for acquiring Greenland, including potential use of the U.S. military in a revival of his ambition to control the strategic island despite European objections. Number one, who gives a crap about what Europe thinks? That is my bottom line. I have had it up to here with Europe. Give a rat's arse about what they think. Who gives a what? Trump sees acquiring Greenland as a U.S. national security priority necessary to deter our adversaries in the Arctic region, the White House said in a statement. Listen, you've got Russia and China both swirling around Greenland. And so Trump is like, you know what? If there's a possibility that China or Russia are going to try to do something to take over Greenland, or China's going to try to weasel their way into Greenland like they've done with Venezuela and other nations across the country, then we need to stop that right away. We need to stop that immediately. And so, yeah, the White House said the president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal. And, of course, utilizing the U.S. military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal. Hey, Sam, could we do a Daily Dan poll on YouTube? Would you approve of the Trump administration using the military to, what would the word be, Jay? What would the word be? Take over Greenland? What would it be?
Yeah.
Take over Greenland? Acquiring. Let's use the term acquiring Greenland.
Yeah, perhaps.
Broader stroke, would you approve of military involvement in Greenland?
No. It's got to be, it's not involvement. It's using the military to acquire Greenland.
Okay.
Hey, Jay, did you hear that? Did you hear what he?
Yep. Okay.
He said, okay.
All right.
All right.
Yep. Okay.
Whatever you say, boss. Yep. I heard that dismissive.
I know. He was a little snippy
He
there,
was
Dan.
a little. That's fine. You know what? Trust me. I've been doing this, Jay, for, 30 years? If there's one thing I'm used to, it's snippy producers.
Well, speaking of snippy, the whole tone of Tapper and Miller, I've got that audio of him just wrapping up the Maduro situation in Venezuela, if you want that real quick.
Yeah, go. You have that?
I've got it.
See, this is why. So, Sam, you're allowed to be snippy because you're really good. So we accept Sam's snippiness because you're really good at your job, and you're also really smart. Go ahead.
It's not what I think, but you invaded the country. We went into the country and we seized the leader of Venezuela.
Damn straight we did.
And I'm saying.
Damn straight we did.
That's the attitude when it comes to protecting this nation's interests.
We got to clip damn straight.
Yeah.
We got to clip damn straight. So then every time one of us makes like a really good point, you just drop in that damn straight.
Just the fact that it's coming from Stephen Miller.
Well,
of all people to drop that, he doesn't have the most masculine voice.
Listen, I'm not one to talk about masculine voices, certainly, but there was a time when not that it matters, but there was a time I was surprised that Stephen Miller was married. That's all I'm going to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got a very effeminate way of speaking, and that's fine.
Thought those loafers looked a little light.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But when he gets excited, he just
pitches up a little bit more.
He gets a little bit more. But he has actually turned into, and obviously I've known of Stephen Miller for years now, and he is one of my favorite Trump cabinet. Is he part of the cabinet? He's policy advisor. So it sounds like a cabinet position. But I don't, no, that's not a cabinet position. Policy advisor? No. All right. Since Sam has to look it up, I know that it's not a dumb question. Jay, do you know?
I don't know the official title offhand, no.
All right, good. So anyway, but he is a very important
Homeland Security Advisor.
What is he?
The Homeland
Security Advisor. All right, very good. Whatever. He's really good, and he has turned out to be one of my favorites within the Trump administration. You got Tom Homan. You got Stephen Miller. Obviously, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio as well. I got to tell you, I have been so incredibly impressed with Donald Trump's team.
People have already turned that into a meme, by the way.
What's that?
Stephen Miller's damn straight, dropping the chain and the sunglasses and a backwards hat on him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I think the one weak link, say it with me, Pam Bondi.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, somebody asked me the question the other day. I'm running late. Somebody asked me the question the other day. If I thought Matt Gaetz would have done a better job than Pam Bondi. Remember Matt Gaetz was first in Trump's search for an attorney general. And I think Matt Gaetz, hindsight is always 20/20. He has a lot of baggage, and there's a lot of things about Matt Gaetz that are sus, I'm just going to say. So, but I think as far as a really tough and aggressive attorney general, put all the baggage aside, I think Matt Gaetz would have been a firebrand of an attorney general.
I don't think he would have screwed up the Letitia James and
no. I think he was. Okay, Stephen Miller is White House Deputy Chief of Staff. He's actually on CNN right now, White House Deputy Chief of Staff. So I think maybe he's one of these guys that has multiple titles. But anyway, bottom line is, I think Matt Gaetz would have been fire as far as an attorney general. I figured it out. Stephen Miller's official title is Deputy White House Chief of Staff for Policy. So, Jay, you and I were like both right. Because I knew that he was like a policy advisor, whatever. He also serves as the Homeland Security Advisor in the current administration. By the way, what's so funny, Sam, is you were the one that brought up Stephen Miller's rather, effeminate voice. There's nothing wrong with that. 4702 says, well, Dan, I thought the same thing about you.
You knew that was coming.
Oh, of course I knew it was coming.
Yeah, but you're more of the soprano, and he can go more falsetto.
I don't even know what that means.
Falsetto's higher.
Oh.
Yeah.
He can go higher. He can definitely go higher. I can't go lower, though. That's one of my big issues.
Down here.
Yeah. Do you remember David Gates, the guy that sang lead singer for the group Bread many, many years ago?
No.
The Stylistics were a group back in the 70s. Anyway, those guys sang in falsetto. Frankie Valli sang in falsetto.
Do you know who had the great lower voice? Barry White.
Yeah, baby.
I actually, because Amy, she's younger, so she hasn't necessarily heard Barry White, so I played some for her. This is what it's like to be married to me, okay? So me, Amy, and Riker are going to breakfast. This was on, I don't know, Sunday morning, I think it was. And for whatever reason, I'm all of a sudden I have to hear some Barry White. And Amy's like, who? I said, Barry White. He's like a great singer. And so then I start doing the whole Barry White thing where you're my first, you're my last, you're my everything.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
And how he comes in and he says something like, we really got it going, baby. Right? that whole thing. Yeah, Barry White. What is the song where he goes, he like talks through an intro? You must know this, Jay.
Oh, gosh.
Where he talks. I know,
but with that playing in my ear.
Look up you're my first, you're my last, you're my everything. Because I started doing that to Amy on the drive to breakfast on Sunday morning. Riker said, "Can you please stop?" Like he's 12. Like Riker is now 12, so he understands what Creepy Dan is like.
Yes,
and he'll tell Creepy Dan to stop. But you know what? I find, just so we're all clear,
Yeah,
I started doing this to Amy. She was like, "Oh, Lord.
Please stop." I was in Vegas once and ran into Barry White on the elevator.
Did he say this?
Almost.
I love the bass in this, too, by the way. See, he sounds so much better doing this than I do. I understand why I sounded creepy to Amy when I was doing this to her.
Well, it's because he was Barry White.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I recognized the guy. And I'm like, hey, how are you? And he goes, hey, man, doing all right. Did his thing, with the low voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great singer. And
the Love Unlimited Orchestra.
Amy didn't really seem to appreciate Barry White as much as I did. To me, Barry White is like Doritos. I can only do it like once a year. Like Doritos and Barry White. I can only stand either one once a year. Hey, moving on. Hey, did you hear that Donald Trump, he has now been challenged to a cognitive test by Gavin Newsom? So Trump was on a roll. I think Chris played some of this stuff yesterday, but he was speaking to the Republicans, and this is what he said about Gavin Newsom.
We should give everybody, like, these competency tests, right? The cognitive, they call it cognitive. I'm the only president that went for cognitives. I think every president and vice president should be forced to take cognitive exams,
totally
mental
agree.
tests, like, are they intelligent? Wouldn't it be nice? Do you think Walz could pass a cognitive test, as an example? Do you think Kamala could? I don't think Gavin could. He's got a good line of crap, but other than that, he couldn't pass.
Oh, my gosh. I love that. Gavin Newsom has a good line of crap. That is true. If there is one thing that personifies Gavin Newsom, it is that line of crap comment that Donald Trump, I've got actually a whole bunch of good lines of crap from Gavin Newsom coming up later on in the show where he's hammering Donald Trump on everything. And one of the things that I have noticed is that he rolls with all of these insults and he's got all of these things that he says and it's like rapid fire and it's hard to keep up. But the reality is, as Donald Trump just said, Gavin Newsom has a good line of crap. But when you really actually start looking at the policies of Gavin Newsom and his performance in California, his good line of crap is really a bad performance for the state of California. But Donald Trump continues.
Here's a guy didn't want to have water coming down from the Pacific Northwest. Why? They have a little tiny fish, this big, it's a little tiny fish, not doing well. You know why? No water. They're sending water. It's too much. It's killing the fish, so they cut it off. And then they have 25,000 houses burned down. They don't know why. No, I think, I believe in it. I'm the only one that took a cognitive test.
All right, so Gavin Newsom now, challenge accepted. He heard that, and now this is from the San Francisco Chronicle. On Tuesday, President Trump telling a room full of Republicans that California Governor Gavin Newsom could not pass a cognitive test. So Newsom, of course, responds, let's do it. Name your time and place. Now, one of the things that I'm going to talk about later on, because there's a lot of news going on, is that the reason why Gavin Newsom has seen a rebound in California as far as his polling goes is because all he's doing is spewing his good line of crap about Donald Trump. And so Newsom, at least right now, he doesn't necessarily have to answer for all of the terrible things that he's done in California, because all he has to do to raise his profile and let his polling go up is bash Donald Trump. That's all he's doing. That's all he has to do. San Francisco Chronicle, the latest installment in Newsom and Trump's longtime social media feud. Newsom's threat comes as questions swirl around Trump's own cognitive fitness. Is there, Jay and Sam, is there questions about Donald Trump's cognitive fitness? Who's asking those questions?
Not cognitive, but
he's tired. He's got to get more sleep. He's got to eat better, but cognitively.
He takes too much aspirin.
Yeah, he does. From what I understand, he does take
because he's
too much
shaking
aspirin.
too many hands, making too many deals. They're swollen. They're tired.
Yeah, I don't think there's questions about Trump's cognitive fitness. The Democrats will always talk about that because that's what they do. And by the way, they have, I mean, this is obvious, but they have no credibility. It's such an easy criticism to fend off because the Democrats had no questions when it came to Joe Biden. So shut the hell up about Donald Trump. I mean, you see how easy that is?
And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it right, Shanga Kawawa.
See, that's why Joan just had to change her name to Joan Jones, because nobody could say her last name.
I'm just going to start calling her Kawawa.
Joan Kawawa. Let's see here. Trump has always insisted that he is very healthy. He stoked speculation when he was withholding concerning information about his health when he said he had a preventative MRI scan, an intensive type of imaging not used as a routine screening tool in healthy adults unless they have certain genetic conditions. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal last week, he backtracked and said it was actually a CT scan, a less intensive type of imaging, without giving details. You know what I would say to this? I would say whatever. Donald Trump withstands the scrutiny of questions from the White House press corps and from the media. There's not an interview that he won't do. There's not a question that he won't answer. And one of the things that I noticed when he went in to get Maduro is that he did sound tired during the initial press conference. But then when the media started asking him questions, he was absolutely laser focused, and there was no sign of any cognitive issues at all.
And he doesn't drink coffee.
He doesn't drink coffee?
Yeah, or alcohol.
He's like I know he doesn't drink alcohol. I think, isn't he like a Dr. Pepper in the morning kind of guy?
Maybe a Diet Coke.
Diet Coke, maybe. Yeah, maybe a Diet Coke kind of guy in the morning. So, I just, man is 79 years old. But it does seem to me like he's doing fine. By the way, a lot of people, so the Democrats, and it, honestly, as I just said, they have zero credibility when it comes to recognizing cognitive issues. They may have recognized Joe Biden's cognitive issues, but they certainly refuse to say anything.
Bingo.
The other thing that President Trump said, and I thought this was funny. One of the other things that President Trump did was he talked about, I don't think I have time to do it now. Maybe we'll do it at the 8:35. But one of the things that President Trump did was he started talking about trans athletes.
You got time.
I don't think I do. I actually.
Oh, you want to include full context for people and give them.
Yeah, I want to be able to give it as much time as I possibly can. So 1607 says this, hey, Dan, you have the voice of a pre-adolescent boy. I knew this was coming. I knew that the second, and Jay, you brought me into this, or was it Sam? One of the two of you brought me into making fun of Stephen Miller's voice, but you guys started it.
No, don't say you guys.
I mean, you two, the two of you led me down this path, and now I am being made fun of incessantly in the on the super text line, which, by the way, is 615-737-9986.
I'm being made fun of, and here's the way to continue making fun of me.
That's exactly right. All right, real quick, because it turns out we do have the time to play this audio. This is Donald Trump, and there's no other way to say it. And by the way, if you watch us on YouTube, I've got all the video for this. But Donald Trump is making fun of, they say, mocking trans athletes. He first starts talking about a weightlifter who, pretending to be a woman, but he's a man, and he went into apparently the women's weightlifting competition.
It's the dancing they really like. She said they don't like it, they're just being nice to you. I said, that's not right. The place goes crazy. They're screaming, dance, please. But the weightlifting, but no, the girl gets up. And you see, I want to be more, but I have somebody watching. I want to be more effusive. I want to really,
Oh, he's in rare form yesterday.
She gets it, and drops the thing, walks off the stage crying. Her mother's crying, her father's crying. Guy gets up.
Yep.
He said, have you lifted before? A little bit. And he walks up, bing. He could have gone ding, 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 ding. I think it was 112 pounds, right?
Yeah, guy comes in. So the woman, the biological woman has to, really work hard to lift the weights. Dude comes in pretending to be a woman, and he does it no problem. When have we seen this before? Obviously.
It's crazy. Or the beautiful boxer. They have boxing now. And that they have a young gentleman who transitioned.
But listen to this. I don't know if I find this funny or not, but when Trump says it, it's hysterical.
He was a very good boxer, but he wanted to be a woman, which is, to each his own. Because I want to be very liberal when it comes to these subjects. I'm trying to get that vote. It's not an easy vote to get. It's very tough for me to get it. But he transitioned, and he transitioned. And the girl was a champion boxer from Italy, remember? She got up, first round. He hit her, boom, with a left. A left, for those, everybody here knows about. But a left, Lisa knows better than anybody. But a left is defense. He goes, boom. She's like, oh my God.
His arms are flailing. It is reminiscent of when people say he made fun of that reporter who was what was wrong with that reporter? I don't even remember what the issue was with the reporter, but you've no doubt seen it where he was making fun of that reporter, and he's kind of doing the same kind of thing for this woman that was hit by a biological man in a boxing match.
She walked to the corner, remember? She didn't go down, but she did everything else. But she said, I've never been hit like that before. I don't want to go out again. You can do it. You can do it. Bang. She walked off. She said, he happened to win the gold medal.
No, he didn't win the gold medal, did he? Of course he did.
Young woman. He won the gold medal. There were two transition people. They both won gold medals. The whole thing is ridiculous. You have policy on your side. They don't have policy on your side. Right? You have policy.
Yep. So that is Donald Trump talking to the Republicans. And on a more serious note, apparently Trump, and I got to look this up because I did not hear this, but I heard the Red-Eye guys talking about it. But apparently President Trump told the Republicans they've got to be more flexible in talking about health care and trying to get a deal done on health care. That the president told the Republicans that they need to be more flexible on the Hyde Amendment. Now, if you don't know what the Hyde Amendment is, basically no taxpayer dollars going towards abortions. And the president is telling the Republicans apparently that they've got to be more flexible on that. And I got to tell you that for a lot of these folks on the right, a lot of Republicans, that's a deal breaker. That is a deal breaker. And I know that Donald Trump is a very pragmatic politician. He's a deal maker and all these kinds of things. But for Republicans, you want to be primaried as a Republican? You go ahead and you become flexible on the Hyde Amendment and watch how quickly you are primaried. You might as well just, hand the House of Representatives over to the Democrats. If you have a bunch of Republicans saying, oh, yeah, we'll go ahead and be flexible on the Hyde Amendment. Are you kidding me? This is something the Republicans, including, by the way, yours truly, feels very strongly about. So my official talk show host position on that is, in absolutely no way, shape, or form should any Republican ever be flexible on the Hyde Amendment. Absolutely not. Donald Trump was wrong to tell the Republicans that they need to be flexible on the Hyde Amendment.